It is now 17 minutes past 3, and we are going right into another episode of Behind the Music. Of course, I'm your host, Steva J. Of course, and DJ Diego is on the inside. We cannot forget him. Hey.
I'm here.
Okay, and today we have a very, very special guest. Everyone, make some noise for Sly.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey.
Sound effects.
Yes, of course.
Sound effects. Yeah.
We have to pull out everything we have. we have royalty in the house, y'all.
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
Hey.
Give thanks. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Good vibes. When I walked in, I really liked the sight on the table. You know, Bounty.
Right.
Yeah. Award winning.
Yes. We representing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Behind the Music is actually powered by Bounty Rum and KFC as well.
Big you up.
All right, good man.
Yes. So again, not sure if I said it, but welcome.
Yes.
It is
thank you. You said it. You said it.
I said it.
Yeah, around 5 times. Right?
Oh yeah. I want to make sure you feel the vibe.
All right, yeah, man. Good vibe.
Now we're going right into it, right?
Yeah.
Diego, you want to start us up?
We can. Sly.
Yeah, man.
Last year, you had Damn Proud Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that everyone has been singing that song when we played it before the interview, and now they are listening, waiting to hear what is going to come out of Sly's mouth. What's next? But before we go to what's next, let's take a attack back.
Yeah.
Damn Proud Lucia, is that your only title for Soca Monarch?
No, it's not. In 2019, it was my first time actually participating in Soca Monarch 2019. That was July. That was the final, July 6th. I remember that day very clearly. And I won with Mix Up on the Fuego rhythm from Moto.
Right.
Yeah. Oh Lord, what a mix up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first attempt at the title, and I won that time. But at the time I won, that was a year that Arthur was not there. I think after his 5 peak, that was the time. That was the year he was not there.
So you got any kind of peekong or any industry talk as in, oh, Sly only won because Arthur isn't there?
Yeah, man. It was, from his fans, because he has some diehard fans, after King Arthur, always to me a legend already in the game with what he's accomplished. To win the title one time is a lot, is something incredible, and to win it 5 times and to do so like consecutively,
right.
That's an amazing feat. So he has his fans in the south, all over St. Lucia, and right. When I won, he was like, it's because the king not there, and so it was. I mean, at the end of the day, you still had to come up against. I still came up against guys like Ricky T.
Yeah,
Ricky T had a very popular song at that time. Shemi J as well had that song Pretty on Purpose that year.
Right.
And everyone was kind of touting Shemi J to take the title home that year. And my manager told me like, your song is making good waves too. So give it a shot. And I didn't have any stage, props, like to say the mentorship in terms of performing on a because it was my first national competition. I've done competition before, but more like community vibe, which I won. Like I was like 16 years old. I did 2 original songs. I wrote them myself from the time I was 16, and there were 2 reggae numbers, and I won that competition. But to say on a national stage, I never really had the mentorship of somebody telling me, okay, this is how you perform, or I just have my vibes doing at the hotels and things. So I just used a little bit of that experience and brought it to the stage, and when we came out on top, and it was a vibe.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Arthur. How is your relationship with Arthur? Like artist to artist?
Yeah, man. Me and Arthur and I, really cool. I performed at his show last year. That was home. He had home in Soufre. I performed there, and in like manner he came. We had our own show in December called Magna on All White. Yeah, that was the day before my birthday, so the show went into my birthday, and he came as well, graced the stage show. At Magna we had Ricky T, we had Arthur, we had Nerdy, we had Kuya, we had Teddyson John actually headline as well.
Right.
TG.
So we put that show together. It was a well received, lovely event, and it's an annual thing. But we're looking to have other events apart from just the concert, because Magna is the all white concert. So we're looking to probably branch out in do probably a brunch or something like that, because we fall under the Viet Cuisine Boys umbrella. So we try to make it our signature events for the calendar year.
So what is the Viet Cuisine Boys?
Yeah, so the Viet Cuisine Boys, it actually stemmed from.
I bite my tongue.
So Viet Cuisine Boys, it English translation is more like old kitchen.
Yeah.
And the whole music vibe and everything started more or less in a kitchen, an old kitchen, like, you know, we had outside. You know, before, nowadays we have our kitchen, bathroom, everything in one house. But, you know, before you would have the kitchen where you probably cook your food on the outside.
Right.
Then you have your bathroom, then you have a big toilet. That's how we were raised.
Right.
You understand? That's the life. But we had that old kitchen around in the place, and we have a DJ in the group called DJ Wayne. Very good DJ. But his grandmother had an old kitchen outside.
Right.
And, you know, as time passed, they started cooking food in there, playing music, and then he brought his sound system, and then they added lights and everything, and it just became a vibe, you know. So we had guys writing their songs and everything. And one day I heard them, we all from the same community, and I heard them, and I was like, that's the way y'all recording them songs. Let me come through, and I'll come and record with y'all. And I just came. All of us were in a bedroom, and we have basic equipment, and we started writing our music and doing our vibe. But all the main parties were held in the old kitchen, and that's where the name came from. Viet Cuisine Boys. You know, people would drop by, and it would just be a vibe like every weekend, every Friday.
Yeah.
Right.
So the name stuck, and we branded the name. We have our logo now, which actually looks like the old kitchen. You know.
Okay. No, when you said
Yeah.
Viet Cuisine, I was thinking about saucepan and beating with.
All that was part of it. All that was part of it, man. All that was
Right.
part of it. It was just vibes. It was just vibes, and it became a movement. And the community gave us good support, man. The community gave
Awesome.
us really, really good support. We had Bellevue Carnival, which is called Mass in the View,
Right.
and we featured heavily there. They gave us our opportunity to perform on the truck and everything, and it just became a vibe. You know, it just started trending.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I am a St. Lucian, and believe me, I am very, very proud of that.
Yeah.
Where is Bellevue?
Bellevue is in Vieux-Fort now. Before,
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm from Vieux-Fort, Bellevue, Vieux-Fort. So I would probably feel away when somebody asked me where is Bellevue. But last time I came up to, I think, where was it? The radio station there. By NBC, right? And I actually turned in front of NBC, and I didn't know that's where I was coming. So I turned in front of the building and left. So St. Lucia is a small place, but there are places you will not know.
Slight
right.
pause.
Yeah.
Serious question now. This could be the bounty shot question.
Yeah.
But we can't take shots so early. Was it easy to find Rhythm FM?
No, because they changed. What? No, like you mean here? Yeah. I came.
All right. Once you get lost when you come in here.
No. Now the funny thing is, imagine. I know he has Blazing FM.
Right.
I didn't really like the Rhythm FM didn't really click, so I was in the band room and I asked the guys, me say, where is Rhythm FM? I said, where is Rhythm FM in? But they said, there is Blazing. And I said, oh, there is Blazing. So So I've been here before a couple times and but I did not never register that it's Rhythm FM.
We're gonna have to change this around. We're gonna have to invite Sly more
A bit
often.
more, yeah. Especially when you're bounty. Yeah.
Y'all hear that? We need an endless supply of Bounty rum in studio so we can keep the damn proud Lucia
man.
coming in.
Bounty St. Lucian. It's St. Lucian. So yeah, man.
Representing.
For sure.
So Sly, you how did you pronounce it again? What?
Viet Cuisine, old kitchen. Viet Cuisine.
Nah, Diego.
Viet Cuisine.
Yeah, Viet Cuisine.
Viet Cuisine.
Yes.
Yes.
Mama, you say that like you from here.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Yeah.
So, with that combined with your professional time recording, how long are you an artist?
All right. So, professionally recording artist, I started like 20. Again, the word professional, I would consider it to say like you record and put your songs out on air to get airplay on YouTube, and we started doing that in 2018.
Right.
Yeah, late 2018. So we've not really been prominent in the game because COVID. From the time we started, we had a late 2018 into 2019 where I won Soca Monarch, and in 2020 we couldn't really take flight off of that because everything was just, you had 2020 2021 kind of gone because of COVID, you understand? And 2022 was then when things started building back up, which is the year I actually had to defend, and I placed 8th, I think. I had some issues with my my sound, my mic.
Right.
So.
But what song did you sing to defend?
It's called Soca. It's one of my favorite songs, to be very honest. Soca.
We need to find that song.
Yeah man. One of my favorites that I've written is definitely Soca. But in my opinion, on stage, because you know what you hear on stage and outside,
it's different.
Yeah, it's different. You understand? So
what was your position performing on that night?
Well, I came out 8th place.
No, what position did you perform?
That night was it number 5?
Yeah,
I think it was number 5. You know,
if you haven't sound disused that time, there could still be sound checking.
Yeah, sound checking. Yeah. Because you find the sound sometimes fluctuate. It fluctuates with artists, so they get in their levels and everything. You know, because everybody not able to come and do a sound check.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah, man, but it is what it is. After that, I kind of took a little pause.
Right.
You know, after the defeat. Well, it didn't go how I wanted, so I took a pause in 2023. You know, I had some personal stuff going on as well, so I took a break out of competition. I stayed, I watched the show and everything, and that's the year Arthur won, 2023. Yeah, and then I told my manager
it wasn't. What was the song? It was not 7 times. It was
a happy, yes, a happy, yes, a happy.
Yeah.
I ain't rich,
Right.
but I'm blessed, so I'm feeling irate. Yeah, man. That's one of my favorite Afro songs, to be very, very honest. The beat, everything, the vibe. It's just like a song that encouraging you, man. It's a good vibe. It's a good vibe.
Now, Sly, me being in media, you know, and being in media not just locally but internationally now, because I started my international trud now. You know, when I look at the pattern, you know, like when I go to Miami Carnival or I go to any other carnival out there in the US or however it goes, you know, out of St. Lucia, you're gonna hear TG, you're gonna hear like DJs playing those songs, and sometimes like when I come to St. Lucia, I kind of get a sense of that here too. Like last year, I didn't hear Damn Proud Lucian being knocked up on radio. I mean, I myself, I played it because, I mean, generally with me, if I'm in Trinidad Carnival, I try to touch on the music, especially when you see quarterfinals, semi-finals. You know, you want to make sure and give the artist the best push that you can give them.
For sure.
You know, but generally, I didn't hear Damn Proud Lucian being one of the top 3 rotated groovies last year.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not sure if you agree.
Yeah. I can agree. We actually discussed that with I had an interview with Teddy Francis, and he did mention that coming into the competition, Damn Proud Lucian wasn't one of the more popular songs. You know, we released it in 2024 in February, for more or less just before independence.
Right.
And you know, if anything has that connotation of independence towards it, it would fall under the independence bracket, and when independence is gone, it's that's it. But we tried our best to continue marketing it,
right,
you know, with the team and everything, and we had Julian Alfred going up and doing her pieces through the rounds of competition, getting set for Olympics and everything, you know. So we kind of used that to kind of give it the hype, you know. And
more legs and marketing.
More legs, yeah. So, and the other thing, like which you mentioned, especially in the rounds of competition, I think that was the time it started to really pick up pace, because when you qualify through the rounds, the radio stations, they take it upon themselves to, you know, push some of the songs like you said, right? We got a good bit of push from Hot FM, Sir Lancelot. Yeah, he did a very, very good job. Even here too, yeah, man. We got some good vibes. King JV, you know, playing these same songs as well.
And notice he can identify who played this song.
Yeah, man. Because we have to pay attention to it. We have to pay attention to it, because that's important, especially when you you know, you want to cut dubs, so you cannot cut dubs for every single DJ,
right? But
it's in a sense you want to cut a dub for a DJ that, you know,
supporting the
movement. You understand?
Right.
So yeah, so I'm not saying that you only do it for the people who push your music. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying at the end of the day,
you want to make sure they feel appreciated.
Yeah, so there's no monetary value you can put on them rotating your songs and making people hear it.
Exactly.
So as a form of compensation and reward, you know, you record a song and you cut a dub.
So knowing that you were going into Soca Monarch with not the most popular song, what was your headspace or your team's headspace? You know, what strategy did you all take to the stage to make sure that on that night, because I mean, Alpha had a a banger as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so, and then Ezra wasn't somebody to take lightly as well. So
and
you're
Ricky
going
T as well. Ricky T had Just Your Turn as
Just
well.
Your Turn. Oh yeah.
That was a big one.
so we're talking about giants, and we're talking about songs that would have been rotated in events. Which were already picking up a different level of momentum. You had Nerdy as well.
Yes,
man.
with Money.
Yeah, Money.
Yeah. And to me, didn't he enter with another one as well for Groovy, or was it?
No,
Money.
It was Money. Okay.
Yeah.
He was the money man last year.
Yeah, man. It was, and last year I must say, had some really top songs, man. Some really top songs. Like the competition was heavy last year, and the mindset we had. I always tell my manager. My manager is somebody that believes in me more than I believe in myself.
Who is your manager?
Yeah.
His name is Daniel William. He's kind of a very unknown guy in the sense of he not big on social media.
Right.
He's not big on social media. He's a very shy kind of person, I would say. But he knows how to handle himself. He knows how to handle business. And if not for him and the team, I don't think I would have been where I am today. I owe these guys.
Big up the team.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I owe these guys a lot because I never intended to take part in competition, even 2019. And he told me, I believe you can do that. I believe you can win. He said that to me. I believe you can win. When I took the break in 2023 and to come back into 2024, he told me, yo, Sly, I know you can win the competition with that song. And when we looked at the climate of the competition, you realize as an artist, you know which songs that big. You know which songs that big. You know which songs are the songs to look out for. And all these guys had more performing time on stage than I did.
Right.
You understand?
In terms of experience and knowledge of stage.
Yeah.
Right.
So they are more than I do. But I always know competition is on the night. When I competed in 2019 and I won, I never paid attention to the criteria.
Right.
Never paid attention to the criteria.
And you just fit.
Yeah, and I just performed. And what I told the manager is, my songwriting style is more or less like storytelling. Right? Yeah. So we wanted everything
like
out
Soca.
Yeah, everything to tie into the theme of the song, which is mix up. So from the presentation,
right?
That I'm going back to 2019 now.
Right. That's fine. Let's go.
That's what the show is about.
Yeah.
Continue.
So 29 when we did the video presentation for the night, we actually had it where a mix up, the same mix up. We did it in a club. We shot it in a club where I was with a young lady, and then a young lady which I'm involved with walks in at the same time, and a fight bursts out, and she hits me and bursts my head up and everything, and I went to the fire station. Imagine we shot that at the fire station. We left the fire station like after midnight.
Right.
Yeah, I got clearance from the officer in charge of the division to shoot the video at the fire station, and the scene ended. The scene for that video presentation ended with me in the ambulance with a bloody shirt, my head tied up, and a black eye and everything. And then they were wheeling me. They showed you like the ambulance left, right? The firefighter was attending to me, and then I entered the stage with that same outfit and everything. So it's like we transitioned from the video presentation onto the stage one time. So I had the same outfit in from the video presentation that we shot, and then they wheeled me on like in a wheelchair. One of the fire personnel wheeled me onto the stage, and I started the performance.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And then so we wanted everything to tie into the whole mix-up. Right. Even the Picong verse, what they call the Picong verse, I used the artists and some of their songs, right? Some of the title of the songs to create a mix-up. I can't even remember. Can
you give us I know when I take it.
I remember.
Yes, I know I mentioned something like Keisha and Ezra had Man With Ride, right?
Yeah.
And I had a line I know for sure. Backstage, I hear Keisha telling Ezra cool out because Keisha like Man With Ride or something like that. So the whole everybody I mentioned, I've used the title of the song in a creative way to stir up like a mix-up, and then and then I did give Alpha a little picong in the not picong so much because I the last line was tonight the 5-time Groovy Soca King not around. So when I win the crown, I'll party with my side chick, party with my ex, because tonight Sly taking the crown. So yeah. So it fitted well into the whole performance, and then everything was very good. And then 2024. That was the time I really studied the criteria. Right. I really paid attention to the criteria this time. Okay,
I'm sorry to cut you. Just want to know. Help me and help the listeners understand what are the criterias for the competition.
Yeah, well, it has a lot. It has a lot. and it goes into detail. So each section has a theme, right, and it gives you a generalized point. So let's say one section for the music composition,
right,
it will be probably 20 points, but then in that they have subsections, like, you know, to do with the music, you know, does the music and the song mesh, like, you know, the chord progression, the arrangement and everything, right? So you pay attention to all of that. And one thing I try to encourage everybody, there's competition song and there is just a song you make for vibes. Now, a song you make for vibes, if you can go into a competition with it.
Depends on the popularity.
Depends on present it. But then there are songs you build for competition. You understand? Also, like you see Calypsonians. Calypsonians, a lot of times they write their songs with the criteria in front of them. You understand? So when you do that, you almost appealing to the criteria already, and then it's just about execution on the stage.
Well, marketing and execution.
You
need to get.
You need to get this first. And with Dumb Proud Lucian, I just felt like, even though Dumb Proud Lucian was not like the most popular song, one thing I knew about Dumb Proud Lucian, no matter who you support on the night, you are St. Lucian at the end of the day, right? So it was just easier to make people connect with the song, if you understand.
Yes.
So we used emotion. I used a lot of emotion in that song.
Right.
With the words, the melodies, everything was deliberate. That's how the first step into writing my song is melody.
Right.
I don't have lyrics. And I did a little presentation and I showed them what I had at first with Dumb Proud Lucian. The way I started it was just a whole bunch of noise, but just getting the melody correct. Because there are certain melodies, like, it just does something to you, man. It just puts you in a certain space.
Exactly.
So now when you can attach the right words to it now, you can create a picture, you can create a whole feeling.
So it's like you're bringing something yoga, relaxation.
Yeah, man, relaxation.
Emotional to soca.
Yeah, man. I always tell musicians, guys, so we are alchemists, we are magicians.
Right.
You know, to take someone's emotion and make it, like, just based on your words and the thought you have, you can make someone feel a certain type of way. You know, to the point where they get goosebumps listening to something, man. That is a power in itself.
Right.
You know, so even the video presentation we used, the sights, the sounds, everything St. Lucian, you know, the colors, the people, the children, you know, to just make everybody relate, to just captivate you from start.
Ignite that national pride.
Yeah, man, that national pride. You know, so at the time when all that is going on in your head, you forgetting you come to support Ricky T. You forgetting you come to support. Honestly, you forget you come to support.
But
man.
You know you're Lucia.
Yeah, man. And what we did as well, we passed in the crowd and gave everybody flags.
Flags,
As many people as we could. Flags, St. Lucian flags. Who would turn down a St. Lucian flag if you're St. Lucian?
Right.
You understand? When you have a St. Lucian flag, you tell you raise your flags. You would definitely raise a flag.
Oh, definitely.
With pride.
With pride. You understand? So you kind of create that kind of compelling power through your song. You understand? And Dumb Proud Lucian, like, everything was just tied into it. The dancers, I must send a big shout out to my dancers, Moves for Days. When they came in, man, they didn't come in from the very start. They came in, like, at a certain point in the song that with some lovely dresses with national colors.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember
this.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful to watch, and the whole, from the video idea to the way the guys walked in on stage with the group playing the tab, the drums and everything, the violin. You know, I orchestrated all that. I wrote everything down. I planned everything down from start to finish on paper, and I just told my manager, this is what we need to execute.
Wow.
And once we execute that, I believe we in a good place, you know. And even at the rehearsals, man, at the end of the song, and not only the intention was to get the crowd involved and feel emotional. I too got so emotional on stage to a point I got chills. I almost cried because the performance came out exactly how I envisioned it.
Wow.
You understand? Because we had a transposition of the chords at the end where we went higher.
Yeah.
Right? And that almost didn't happen because when I pitched that to the guys in the rehearsal, like, the band members were telling me, like, Sly, guys, I don't feel you should do that, man. I don't feel you should do that. That's a big risk.
Yeah.
You know, because
performing live.
Yeah,
as well,
performing live and to do that transition the way I wanted to do it. Because again, when they do the transitions from one key to another, like a semitone or whole tone, it's often the band leads. The band does the transition and the singer comes after. But the way I did it for Dumb Proud Lucian, I led with my voice. My vocals changed key before the music changed key.
Right.
So they were wondering whether I would remember, but the
chord progression.
Yeah, the
I kind of want to ask you to let it go right now. I kind of want to hear it.
Yeah, so it was I am a dumb pup, proud pup, dumb pup, proud pup, dumb. So I went a semitone higher, and then the band followed me a semitone higher. So, but I needed to know the key, because if I had sung the wrong key, it would throw everything off,
and then you lose points.
Yeah, you lose points for everything
because you're risking.
Yeah, man.
That innovation versus key, which you can naturally do.
Yeah. So
that took a level of confidence. You have to be really confident in yourself and your abilities.
Yeah, I knew I could have done it. I knew I could have done it because I play in hotels all the time, so I hear musicians, and there's that song that I use as the gauge to know what that song by George Benson. They say the neon lights are bright on, bro. Yeah, so he always goes a semitone higher after every verse. He goes a semitone high, he goes a semitone high, he goes a semitone higher.
Yeah.
So I knew what it sounded like in my head to go a semitone higher. So I just brought that into the song, and then it was just wonderfully executed.
And again, big up your team, because if they did not have your back and they were not able to follow through, that could have been messed up as well. So amazing.
Yeah, very few artists can say that they take risk, especially when a trophy is involved. People usually try to play it as safe to do the safest thing they can do to grab that trophy.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody that actually goes out the box, the crowd goes out the box as well.
Yeah, man. It was just like that crescendo, like that peak of the performance, and then with the confetti and everything. It was just beautiful, man. If it's one moment in my life I'll always remember, one performance, it will be that one. That one. Yeah, man.
Now, you went from Damn Proud Lucia being one of the least known songs. Right now, it's basically the national anthem.
Yeah, it's boys.
I don't think anybody gonna have a chance for Independence theme song over that.
Yeah. No, right?
Unless it's beaten.
You cannot possibly know if there's anyone out there who doesn't know this song. Okay, I can say, okay, maybe you don't know who Sly is, but you don't know the song?
The song, yeah.
No, we're revoking your cat. We're revoking the cat, because that's not right.
Deport. Deport. ICE. Deport.
So how you...
We're gonna trump them.
Yeah.
You were basically the face and the voice for St. Lucia Independence 2025. I was about to say this year, but
So it was even more pleasing when it was announced that Damn Proud Lucia is a theme song for this year,
right?
Because actually it was written last year, right? And such like was the magnitude of the song, especially coupled up with it's like after that song, all the St. Lucians just had superpowers. Like I don't know, Julian Alfred was just like everybody every time we just realizing, and it just continues. It has continued. Look, we have JD Emmanuel now. We have like everybody just I don't know what happened, but
so we say you want to say we kind of trying to say it. That Damn Proud Lucia was the fuel behind it.
No, but you can't say no to it as well, because at the end of the day, when somebody is imagine someone training, when you go to the gym, people usually put on like DMX, they put on,
right?
So imagine you trying to focus for a race, and you have a song that actually taking you to that place of meditation where you know.
Yeah, so man. Just remind you of it. Because
if I put myself in their shoe, I can picture it.
Yeah, because Julian Alfred, she said it in the interview, that was her song. She had all the songs that but Damn Proud Lucia was one of the songs that she has in her headphones, like almost throughout her warming up session, and just to practice, just to give her that sense of inspiration. So boy, that song did so much fun.
Make you feel that's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and it was just so humbling to see, like, man, where we came from.
It's okay to share that here on BTM, man. You can share that here.
It's so humbling to know, like, where we came from. Like, it's just a struggle. I'll be very honest, as a South artist, we might not want to admit it, and that's okay. That's why I'll really open up. We might not want to admit it on island. We might not want. I'll be very honest. We might not want to admit it on island. But Southern artists are at a disadvantage when it comes to the music industry.
So
I'll make my point. The major radio stations where you need to do interview to market your music, they're up north. Right? That's one.
Okay.
The major shows where you would go out to perform so people can hear your music, they're up north.
North, right.
The rehearsals for all these sessions the band rooms, they're up north. Competition stages going through the rounds, they're up north.
Right.
You understand? Some of the biggest promoters and event coordinators, they're up north. The finals for the competition, it's up north.
Right.
Right? So when you're coming from south, you can only probably bring, let's say, about 3 buses of persons.
How much you can afford.
Yeah. Right? So when you come into a ground where there's about 5,000, 6,000 people, and you come in to participate, and then you bring your supporters, and a bus probably has like 14 passengers. So let's say roughly 42 persons you bring with you, supporting you.
That's a little pocket.
That's just a little piece.
drop. Yeah.
That's just a little piece. But then when you come in the ground, and then you have a huge portion is, let's say, Nerdy fans, then Orion fans, Rikiti fans, and they, again, we go with that saying, out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
If they don't see you, they don't really remember you. Right? Now, the fact that they don't really see me, I'm not as popular as the other guys.
And then even if you do radio interviews, there are few interviews like this where you actually get mileage from online.
Yeah. So that's why we've been trying to add videos to our music, right? So they can see the face, they can relate. And Damn Proud Lucian did that, for us, right? And we, as I was saying, we are at a disadvantage because it just creates some form of a disconnect in a sense. A disconnect because, again, if there's an opportunity, right? Something came up, impromptu, quick, you need an artist, you need a band or something. You not really check somebody from Vieux-Fort to come up to Castries. You probably pick those from Castries to come and, fill in that spot. Convenience, out of everything. So, in as much as we don't want to admit it, there is a disadvantage.
But I think sometimes it's not about not admitting it alone. Sometimes it's about like using platforms like these for other people to actually realize to themselves what's happening. So maybe going forward in this season, they can say, hey guys, we have these artists from South, we have this band from South, maybe,
true.
And get that going, because sometimes like we how to put it, closed mouths don't get fed.
Amen.
So unless you really bring awareness to it, and not because like we had an artist on BTM last year, we could not do much with his interview because it was just so much pent up frustration and anger and tongue lashes, and and we can't tell him not to do it because that's what it is about. But then instead of he seeing the opportunity where he can inspire, probably leverage, he just kept lashing, and it reached to the point where we even said, well, hey, you remember that this is a podcast, the views of the artist is the views of the artist. It's not necessarily
the views of
right.
When you get to that point, it's crazy.
And I mean, it was not to say that it was so terrible, but it's something that people are going to, it's going to ruffle feathers. So I think when you have platforms like these, you really use it in a manner that's going to create awareness and create some sort of solution.
Yeah, man, for sure. And we have to pay attention as well to the use of social media, how we use it. Even though I've gone through some of these things, I never really run to social media to rant and cry about it. We look at how we can maneuver around it, what we can do. And I must say, we've had some persons who have been reaching out to us and trying to look out for us, understanding. Because in 2019, after I won 2019, I'll be very honest, I didn't really get much shows from the victory in 2019.
Whoa, you wouldn't believe that was a question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, so man. Go on. Yeah, man, we didn't get much opportunities from the winning the Soca Monarch in 2019. To the point where my manager had to be calling certain persons and requesting for me to be on shows as a Groovy Monarch. You understand? And it got to a point where when he was trying to do his job and being upfront, certain persons even blocked him.
Wow.
When you say trying to do his job and being upfront, explain that properly, because that can mean a lot of different things. So that can mean that, hey, right now we have the reading Groovy Monarch, but just out of respect, courtesy and business, please, we need a deposit, or I'm not sure.
So
what do you mean?
Not in that aspect. So I want to state in a way that it doesn't come out again like more or less what I caught you. To me, when you win a certain title, it comes with a certain prestige.
Right.
Attached to it, like as a monarch. You understand?
Yeah.
And you have three. The Carnival Queen pageant. Well, I'm talking about Soca. You have the Carnival Queen pageant. You have the Queen from there. You have the Groovy Soca Monarch, and then you have the Power Soca Monarch. Then we can throw in the Calypso Monarch and the Intercommercial.
Right.
So you have probably 5 persons, right? And when you win that title, that to me, certain things should come with
it. Should open
Yeah.
certain doors.
Open certain doors,
Right.
you know. But I don't think it's my job to ask you to open that door for me. You understand?
Right.
Because I've put in the work. I've come to the competition. I've made you understand that okay, this guy is able to do what he done. He won a competition.
Right.
He's now the monarch. You understand? So let's create an avenue where he can continue.
So you probably thought that it would have been easier to close those doors and land gigs.
And yeah. So the manager felt like, you know, enough of that was not happening, especially at events you would expect
Yeah,
the Groovy Monarch to be. You know, so he found himself asking, you know, can we be on that? And sometimes, majority of the times, it didn't come through. Okay. Especially on the early years, 2019, it didn't come through. So I had to get to the point to tell him, bro, you know what? Let me not take that route.
Right.
Let's just continue pushing work and make people understand, like, you know, the value of what we can do and what we have to offer.
Right.
And so I continued putting out good music. I don't put out a lot of music, but I do my best that when I put out something, it's of substance.
You know, always on point with
yeah, man. So I'm not the type of artist to be easily swayed by another artist and his wave.
Right.
You know, if Ricky T does his music, his style, and I'm using these names hypothetically, I'm not just saying that like,
Right.
If he has his style of making his songs, he does his songs his way. Nerdy has his style of making his songs, he makes his songs his way. Arthur has his style of making his songs, he makes his songs his way.
So you're not following any one template or pattern.
Now you can take inspiration from these guys, but then you create your own wave, you create your own
inject your personality.
Your own personality. So I did that for myself, but I never try to jump on a bandwagon of, okay, let's say if that man doing that style of music and he getting a blind, he getting popular, just because he's doing that, I think I should do that just to get popular. No, I have my ideology of what music is to me. And I always tell people, as at the end of the day, music is for the people, you do, but if I don't love what I do don't think I can deliver it in a way where people can receive it, if you understand what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, if you're a baker, right, you need to believe in your skill and that you're able to bake a certain quality of pastry
with your ingredients.
With your ingredients, you understand? You can be inspired by other bakers or whatever, but you make in your own style and you make it in a way that you know people are going to love it. If you don't love it, to me, the way people receive it, they're not receiving it a full 100, man. I don't believe they're receiving a full 100. So I stay to my lane in terms of how I compose my music, and that's why sometimes I'm not heavy on collaborations, because I'll say this. Artists have reached out to me to collaborate. Now, it's not because I feel I'm better than any artist. Listen carefully. I don't feel I'm better than any artist.
Right.
But maybe the idea for the collaboration that you have is not aligned with what I envision myself doing.
Right.
If you understand musically. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's not that kind of collaboration I want to make.
So people usually think like it's somebody with a sweet voice and a rough voice. They throw that in there.
So, and especially the content too. The content of the song, you know.
So what is a collaboration that you would welcome? Not necessarily an artist, but along what you think would be something that Sly would be interested in making.
Yeah, so
what kind of bread you want bake?
So if there's a collaboration I in the making. Nerdy sent me an idea that it's a really nice idea. The only reason that it had not we had not completed it is because of the workload.
Right.
You know, I'm a firefighter, so I have to.
Yeah. So after you finish this explanation here with Nitty, we're going to go a little bit more because I want to know. I did not know you were a firefighter. We want to find out things. So please continue.
So With Niddy, it's not that I just don't want to do the collaboration. It's like with the season coming up, you want to be ready. Right? Because the song I put out for Power, that's not even the song that we plan to release for the competition.
Right.
You understand? So, but with battling and trying to manage time and everything, we just felt like, we fell behind time. We accept that we fell behind time, but we move on.
Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, you already know I gonna say.
Yeah.
So, who is Sly behind the music?
Yeah. So, behind the music, I'm a 33-year-old male. Yeah.
well.
These days, you have to be. Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm professionally, with my career, I'm a firefighter. I've been a firefighter for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
How much fires are out so far?
a lot. And I'm an EMT as well, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's currently, I don't really work the shifts currently. I manage the emergency medical services department for the entire South. So from Miku to Soufre, we handle everything to do with ambulances and emergencies and everything. Yeah, so I've been a firefighter for 15 years. It has been a wonderful journey. It has had, like when you work these jobs, you see mental health. When you work these kind of jobs.
I don't want to disturb. Excuse me 1 second.
No problem.
I'm going to line up for the bounty shot.
Yeah. All right, good vibe.
All right.
When you're a firefighter or police officer, you work these kind of essential services. Mental health is it's something that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man. If you not, and again, I'll open up on a few things. If you, let's say, relationship-wise, it doesn't for friendship, your relationship with your partner. If you're not careful, you'll realize certain changes sometimes, and sometimes when you realize them, maybe it's too late. You understand, because of the things you see. One of the calls I had that was really traumatizing to me. We had a little boy, about 2 years old, I think, and he strangled in a bed sheet.
Oh.
And at the time we were doing CPR on him, and he was drinking a bottle, and then, he fell like between the bed and at that point, my colleague and I were doing CPR on him, and at that time, both of us had our son, like newborn. Right. You understand? So when you're doing that with a little boy, you kind of seeing like you're doing that, and you can just only see your child at the time, and if you don't open up about it, now with the fire service and the public service, they put things in place for that. So you have an EAP, a psychologist that you can go and open up and speak to. But some of us, we don't make use of it. We believe we can handle it on our own, and we internalize a lot. So when you see certain chopping, you see certain like decapitation and all them kind of things, if it takes a toll on you.
Wow. Yeah.
It takes a toll on you, and if you're not careful, it will change certain things about you, and then you'll not realize that's what's happening to you until it's too late, until you probably mess up something.
Right.
Yeah, you understand? So you probably you probably on edge at home, probably starting like arguments and everything, and then you don't realize that, hey, you need to take a break, check on your mental health. Sometimes the partner that you have as well, or whoever you dealing with in the relationship, could be a friend, they too need to be aware, hey, this guy is a firefighter. Could it be something at work bothering him?
Right.
Could it be? And then you have to battle all these things, with the music and outside job, because from firefighting I go to the hotel one time with my band, and so sometimes you don't even get the time to deal with the things that you saw throughout the day.
Yes.
So you just go from one first. Sometimes you go to the hotel and then you get a problem with the band, a member doesn't show up, the gig doesn't go there. So for the day you probably had so many different things to deal with, but you have not taken the time to sit with it and open up to somebody about it. And so it takes certain tolls, and that's one of the things I was going through in 2023.
Wow.
2023 was a little rough year, and I felt I wasn't in the right headspace to compete, so I just took a
back seat.
Yeah, a back seat, and then I came back, man. I understood at the time like what was happening.
We noticed you came back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was no secret.
Yeah. So I want to encourage all my colleagues and everybody else, in them kind of fields, nurses, doctors, like take time for yourself, man. Take time for yourself to check on the mental space, because sometimes it just, you become somebody that you slowly don't recognize.
Wow.
If you don't take like the mental break, you know, you'll just probably find yourself becoming somebody like you don't recognize, you probably on edge all the time, and you don't realize that is what happening to you. You try to figure out if it's every other thing, but just take a little hour or two
to pinpoint where that trigger is coming from
and open up about it, talk about it.
I love that you have just advocated for mental health.
Yeah, man.
Right? And I think at this point I should mention it is Men's Mental Health Month.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. So so big you up for that one right there.
Yeah,
you know, I didn't even
you know, so we're going to take a shot of bounty, but that's not the way to deal with it, guys.
Hey!
Bounty is to celebrate.
Now, I think we should go into this year. I mean, Damn Proud Lucia is
we had to go into this year after the bounty shot.
Oh,
we can't go into this year before the bounty
we
shot.
have to go into the bottle.
We had to do the bounty shot now, and then we go into this year. Because we had to listen to music from this year. We have to understand it. We want to know where it came from.
I point the shot for myself.
Well, you open the bottle, you know. We had the original. What you call this one? We had the gold, the premium gold.
Coconut, coconut. That's my favorite, especially if I have some pineapple juice.
Right. Ooh, hear that.
It's not a shot glass, huh?
A shot. Yeah.
No, you can pour how much you desire, you know.
All right, okay.
Just remember, it's not a shot glass.
And imagine, I posted on my status, I was taking a break from rum.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not peer pressure, guys. It's just a conscious decision. All right. It's not peer pressure.
We didn't do this.
This is not drinking.
Yeah.
This is life.
Yeah.
This is an endorsement.
Yeah, for sure.
This is our payback to Bounty for actually powering behind the music.
Yeah, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
Show them how premium the rum is live on air.
That's right.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure. I actually had my first Bounty Gold. The first shot of Bounty Gold I had was last year. First ever.
Wow.
I did a video, you know, I never posted it. I made a video. My eyes watered, you'd swear I was in a funeral. Like
that was a Bounty moment.
You know,
for sure.
Bounty has over the years become my go-to drink. Whenever I go out, a Bounty, and you know, Bounty and Coke, Bounty and Sprite, Bounty by itself.
When I travel and I come back, I usually make sure and bring something different for Steva to try. That has long gone. Because it would stay there and you just see Bounty.
I have one admission to Bounty. That was a drink I promised myself I would never drink.
Wow.
Bounty. Because of the we had that stereotype.
That's right.
We had that stereotype towards it. But especially and when you see the guys used to smoke cigarettes.
Right.
Like, you know, we had that stigma like when we were younger.
True.
Yeah. But you see, when I tasted, like especially Bounty Coconut, and I tasted the Bounty Gold, but after the Bounty Coconut, my favorite is the spice. Spice with Coke. Bounty spice and Coke.
That's it.
I love it.
I love how they have broken down the stereotype and they've made Bounty rum something premium.
Premium, yeah, man. Premium. Now
the spirit of St. Lucia, the spirit of Carnival, it's premium.
For sure.
Okay.
Looks like ready there.
So ready for the shot?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
you have to cheers to the camera.
Yeah, to the camera.
Straight into the camera with the Bounty. Yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Shot.
Yay. All for me.
All right.
Nice. So are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Now, you spoke about your team. You spoke about where you came from. You spoke about 2019 not connecting to what you thought would have translated business-wise after winning that title. The Bounty shot question of the day. Do you think you were ready for the magnitude of success for Damn Proud Lucian?
Oh, can you ask the question one more time for me? One more time.
Do you think you were ready for the magnitude and success of Damn Proud Lucian?
Honest answer, no. I don't think I was ready.
Why?
The reason is, at one point I became overwhelmed. Honestly, I became overwhelmed with like the request to be here, there, flying out of St. Lucia to come and perform and everything, I became overwhelmed. And one of the things that made it even more overwhelming was the success of Julian Alfred.
Right.
You know, almost every area, everything that was advertised was done Proud Lucian. And we had to be at the schools, Cicéron, when they were doing the unveiling of the mural, the concert, you know, like almost everything required our presence. And that was coupled up with being the monarch as well.
Right.
Not just only for the fact that Julian Alfred won the Olympic gold, right? We had to balance that with our duties as king. And compared to 2019, where we felt that we were not getting the opportunities, it was just like we had so many opportunities from last year into this year, you know. And this year it was my first time on main stage jazz as well.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, man.
And was it thank you to Damn Proud Lucian as well?
I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm not sure because I did other material of mine. I had a 30-minute set along with Semi Francis, very, very fantastic human being. I must say, Semi, big up yourself, man.
Big you up.
Man, big up Semi Francis. But it was a great feeling, man. It was a great feeling to do that. But all that, I think, I will say yeah, because I think 2024 Damn Proud Lucian, it brought me out because people were not only looking at Sly for Damn Proud Lucian. Okay, so that's Sly. What else is singing? Because I got a lot of messages from the discussions that I had with persons.
Ooh, yeah, continue, Sly. Continue.
I had a lot of discussions from persons. So they were like, so Sly singing Damn Proud Lucian. So you that singing that song? So you that singing that other song, like other songs that I've sung before that they did not know. You understand? And they were like, you that singing that song? You not? Yeah. So they realizing now that okay, this guy has more content than just Damn Proud Lucian.
Right.
You understand? So it opened more doors. So I can say the first part of the question to was I ready? No, but then Damn Proud Lucian, when you ask, yes, it did bring.
So on the business scale and the international scale, it was a learning curve for you.
Yes, definitely.
But then
definitely.
on the other side, with what you were ready for and the doors you've been knocking on,
Yeah.
open doors and you're ready for that.
Yeah,
level.
man. Yeah, man.
So before we go into this year, what advice do you have to artists about preparing themselves for a successful song? Because Teddyson does not get a vent every year.
Yeah.
However, Vent has Teddyson in places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man,
Oh,
for sure,
yeah.
for sure.
So what kind of advice you have to artists for them to actually, prepare themselves for this level of success?
All right. So one of the things I love to tell artists, prepare yourself as though you're already a big artist. You understand? In terms of structure, a lot of artists don't really have managers. You see your structure, your manager, your person doing your administration, promoting your music. As the artist, it'll be a lot of work for you to be doing all of these things. It's not good for my manager always tells me, bro, I want you to focus on just making music.
Right.
Just making music. We'll be at an event and my manager would not want me to go on the line and get a drink. He does not want me to go and look for ice to put in my drink.
But that's a manager.
He handles that. He handles all that. And he says to me, we'll put everything in place for you. All we want you to just do, focus on
touch the stage.
So you see the structure. You need to have a good team.
You are the star.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, it's not just about being the styler. He is the product.
The product.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
And in events, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, and everything that goes wrong is not physical.
Yeah.
It throws off energies in ways that artists don't even realize, and then you come on the stage with that burden in you, and you don't know.
Yeah.
So you perform, but you did not perform.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And it happens, One thing I like to say, we like to wait and say, oh, we're waiting for the right time. It's always the right time. You just have to create, and I like that example, that saying, leap and grow your wings on the way down. Don't wait for you to grow your wings and then you'll see if you can. Probably the leap you take, that's what creating the conditions for them wings to come out.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
So don't be afraid to go into the business of putting yourself out there as an artist thinking you don't have a hit song yet. No. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Because that song you have that you in your head you think, boy, I ain't on your level yet. Somebody else might hear that and tell you, you see, just one thing I think you can tweak about that.
And it's 100%.
just a little change, just a little change. Yeah, man, just a little change. You see when a stream, like a river, just a little change, a little diversion you do to that, and it creates a whole new path for itself. Whole new path for itself. So, yeah, man, to any artist out there, it's always the right time.
Lovely.
Right.
It's always the right time. Always the right time.
Now, going right into your releases for 2025.
Finally.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, everybody's been itching. We want to know. We want to hear the story behind the music. Okay, so the first song we're talking about here is No Attachments.
No Attachments, yeah.
Okay, so that's with you and...
Boogie Ranks, yeah. So Boogie Ranks is the producer.
Right.
He made the rhythm and everything. So we have MP Slicker on there as well. We have Arthur on there as well with Flights, No Feelings with Nerdy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, we have Masville from Barbados as well who jumped on that
Ooh,
rhythm.
that's right.
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
Boogie's a big one. Eh?
Yeah.
Boogie is a big one.
Man, Boogie Ranks bad. Yeah, so that song, I mean, No Attachments is, again, a little bit of storytelling in there. More centered around, you go to a fete, right? Dancing with a woman, or, and she believes that, the ladies always believe that when they give you that wine, you'll get hooked.
They have it on lock.
Yeah, they have it on lock.
Wifey scene.
Yeah. But they don't understand they have fellas that have that impact too.
What and move.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just going to see myself out of this conversation.
Yeah, so it more centers around that. But yeah, it's just, so we go in with that phrase. One juke and move. One juke and move. One dance and move. Like don't come and peg.
Don't lie.
Yeah, don't lie, don't stick.
Don't vibe.
Yeah, don't stick.
Okay.
Because just no attachments.
Right.
Don't, because I know, and for a fact, when I put that song out, a few ladies message me and tell me, oh, that's so true. Sometimes you giving a man one dance for the night, and the whole night you want to be behind. You want to be behind.
Yeah.
You start to build a foundation.
Building materials, everything.
Everything roof coming.
Yeah, man. So no attachments, guys. So just get it, and then the pre-chorus, the hook says 15 likes, and I get one follow. So that usually happens. Let's say you had a good night with somebody, boy, and then you realize that person, you know that person's face. So you then go on the person's page and watch photos, and then you start liking and clicking, and then you follow them just because a few things. You want to keep in touch with that person. You want that person to see, like, I paying attention to you,
right.
Whatever. But then. No attachments. No attachments.
None.
Don't get attached. Right? So that's what that song is centered around.
Is this the song that you're going to be going into Groovy with?
No. So the song I'm going into Groovy with is Can't Believe It.
Okay, so 1 second there. 1 second. I want us to listen to No Attachments.
No
Because
Attachments.
listen. My interest is piqued.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I want to know, and I'm sure my listeners want to hear and know too.
For sure.
Right?
Hello, Bounty.
I was just about to say, can I
They go
shot again?
No. It's like a boss.
It's cold, man.
It's like a boss.
Yeah.
All right. So, my listeners, if you're just tuning in, welcome. This is Behind the Music. On the inside, we have Sly.
Pip.
That's right.
No attachment.
And this next song here is called No Attachment. Sly and the producer Boogie Ranks.
Yeah, man.
Big Boogie.
Biddy biddy, a bim bam bam biddy biddy. Miss Lady, yeah. Oh, start whining. No one touch me. Yeah. She give me a taste of the bumper and she tell me don't get attached. I tell she, I hope you don't stop me when you see how I bust your back. Hey, then I make she bend over and I grab onto she one flat. While not choking, she turn and tell me she plan to end what I start. The next day, 15 likes and I get one follow. Boy, I feel I catch that bird. We set up the link and she tell me tomorrow. Boy, I feel I catch that bird. She say relationship is a no-no. Boy, I feel I catch that bird. Because at the end of the day, we don't want no attachments. No, we don't want no attachments. Lord. We don't want no attachments. We don't want no attachments. But anyway, I don't see when the party over. She going home in my ride. Cause the way we wine with each other, a pressure build up inside. Everybody
Oi, I'm feeling like in a breakfast fete right now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like
man. Like a brunch vibe, a brunch kind of.
Hey, put up, let me take a tea.
Set up the link and she tell me tomorrow. Boy, I feel like catch that bird. She say relationship is a no-no.
Hey.
Boy, I feel like catch that bird. Because at the end of the day, we don't want no attachment.
One wine and move. No attachment.
We don't want no attachments. We don't want no attachments. We don't want no attachments. She give me a taste of the bumper and she tell me don't get attached. I tell she, I hope you don't stop me when you see how I burst your back. Hey, then I make she bend over and I grab onto she one flat. While not joking, she turn and tell me she plan to end what I start. The next day, 15 likes and I get one follow. Boy, I feel like catch that bird. We set up the link and she tell me tomorrow. Boy, I feel like catch that bird. She say relationship is a no-no. Boy, I feel like catch that bird. Because at the end of the day, we don't want no attachments. No, we don't want no attachments. We don't want no attachments. We don't want no attachments. But anyway, 15 likes and I get one follow.
Wait, Steva J, you need to bring that from the top.
Bring this. You want the song from the
Bring
top?
this song from the top.
From the top.
But Diego,
This
I'm not
is the
sure if we can
first-
handle it, you know.
This is the first time on Behind the Music that an artist is going to give us a little
What's that?
bit of how they would present the song on stage before we go into the next one.
Ooh,
A little bit.
When you say present it on stage,
When you go to perform this
impromptu
song,
day.
imagine you and we in a brunch.
yeah.
Right now, Behind the Music in a brunch.
All right.
And, you know, Steva J right there. Steva J, we set in the mood. We're on stage right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody. So, this song, you can't get attached to it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
we're going to bring to the stage the one, the only, the Groovy Soca Monarch King.
Lady, give me. But if we're doing that, I feel I want to do that almost like a performance.
Say, what's that up?
yeah.
All right.
Hey.
But how we going to adjust them cameras?
One
No,
second,
don't worry.
We got
I go stay in frame. I go stay in frame.
all right.
I go stay in frame.
All right, guys. So just so you know, we are also recording this interview here. And Sly is also live. You get an opportunity to see
Yeah.
him. All right. So follow Sly on Instagram. Okay.
For sure. All right. From the top.
From the top.
From the top.
Let me go. Let me box it
From the
again.
top. From the top.
From
Let
the
me
top.
box
From
it
the top.
again.
Hey, let's go. Ladies, if this man been troubling you from the time the fed start, let that man know no attachment tonight. So, if that one behind you right now, just brace on that man. But let him know it's just one wine and move. Hey,
She give me a taste of the bumper and she tell me don't get attached. I tell she, I hope you don't.
what?
See how I bust your back. Then I make she bend and I grab onto she.
One flat. It could be braids, it could be a weave. I grab him. Let's go, ladies, just wine.
Listen. I done it.
It could
Wow.
be braids, it could be
finished.
braids, it could be a weave.
Wow.
I
grab
hold
it.
it.
We get real loud
Yeah.
there, boy. What raise? Sly, what raise? Sly?
I'm not sure. Probably the vibes, just the bouncy.
Yeah.
We don't want no attachments. But anyway,
Oh,
see when the party over,
yeah.
in my ride. 'Cause the way we want
Okay.
Yeah, man. So,
pressure build up in
Now, I love this energy for Behind the Music. It's like, I have to tell you, it's an absolute pleasure having you. It's a big vibe.
yes. I love the vibe. And that rhythm,
Wow.
that rhythm from Boogie Ranks. If you listen to that rhythm well, it'll give you that little vibe of, like, I don't know if you remember that band Atlantic.
Yeah.
They sing All Aboard and them kind of.
Yeah, man.
So like,
right.
as though when I heard that beat, it gave me that kind of vibe to sing, like, you know, that So that's when I say you can be inspired by something else, but then
Right.
create your own.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man.
So you throw your vocals and really bring the vibe there.
Bring the vibe in it. Yeah.
All right,
vibes,
then.
good vibes,
So
good
Steve,
vibes.
what you saying? You saying on to the next?
Yeah. So we have another song here. This one is a groovy. This one is called Can't Believe.
Yeah.
Can't Believe It.
Yeah.
You want to give us the
Yeah, man. So this one is my favorite to date. This, and again, I'll say that I'm not speaking about popularity or anything like that.
Right.
I'm speaking in terms of the production, the lyrics, the vibe.
The vocal mastery from you.
Yeah. This song is the level at which I want to make music, in my opinion.
Right.
Okay.
This is my benchmark for music for me. Right. I've made some songs that I really in love with, but this one is the level for me. This is the standard for me. You understand?
Okay.
And that one is just to commemorate St. Lucia Carnival. You know, because you hear a lot of talking and saying like St. Lucia Carnival is not all that, and you know it's overhyped and all them kind of vibes. You know, when we had record numbers, you know, being touted, and you know people sometimes say like, you know, that it's true, they just exaggerate the numbers and everything.
Right.
You know, it's just because they don't believe that St. Lucia Carnival is one of the most anticipated events of the year.
But
Yes.
what kind of people that spread them rumors? Like locals or
Yeah, man. Locals, naysayers. You know, sometimes you're just not
Yes.
into a certain vibe. It's not your kind of vibe.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, it's not, or it's not coming from the right mouth. The numbers not coming from the right mouth.
Right.
You know, so
now the festival should not suffer because of them things.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. So
there was even a rumor where they said we AI'd our
all that is part of it. Yeah, so all that is part of the reason behind the song. They were saying that some of the pictures being used, you know, to promote, you know, is AI generated.
Never, but St. Lucia have some of the best photographers and videographers
Yeah, man.
in the
It's true.
Caribbean.
Yeah, man.
I mean, look at it. When you see people coming from different places and they booking photo packages on their way, on their trip, they book somebody to actually follow them to
through.
get that content captured,
Yeah, man.
rather than coming with their own team. It tells a story.
Yeah, man. Big up DCM Visuals. He's the one been doing my my stuff for me.
Mad.
VHL production as well. Very talented.
Yeah.
Wolf. Yeah, man. Wolf Fiesel. All these guys, you know, very good content creators.
That's right. We have to make sure we tag them in the post, eh?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Big y'all up.
Yeah, man. So yeah.
All right. So we're gonna play the song now. We ready for it?
Yeah, yeah, I believe
You
it.
ready?
Diego, you need another
25.
shout out.
I had to hear. I
Yeah,
waited for
I have
Sly to
it.
just give me a little toast.
I have there.
Wow.
But we only have a second
Far,
one.
you're
We on
far.
Yeah.
Wow.
We overlap it already.
But don't
You
worry.
see?
You
You see?
see the size of this bounty bottle there? It
You
could
see?
stretch. So just stretch your hand.
Yeah, we overlap you
Stretch
already.
your hand and hey, watch.
Like Nerdy say, keep up.
Keep up.
Keep up,
What's the
dog.
size of that bottle? What's the size of that bottle right
This
there?
one, it's a 1 liter. A 1 liter.
1 liter.
1 liter.
And what is it? This is the Bounty
This
This
coconut.
is bounty coconut. This is Sly's favorite.
Favorite. Yeah,
Favorite.
my
We
favorite.
don't know what Nerdy going to answer next week. Up top.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So
Cheers.
big up our sponsor, Bounty
For
Rum, and of course, need to shout out KFC.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Okay, so without further ado,
Can't believe it.
So can't believe it.
let's go.
Some man turn up the line array. It don't matter time of day. Can't stop, we can't even know it. We my people happy there. Bim bim. Islands bring rhythm. Yeah. It's Sly again. Vibes. We full of vibes to give. Let's make them believe. I again they say we exaggerate. The carnival numbers not accurate. Cause them can't believe it. What gosh? Them can't believe it. How the road get shut down after 6, but all after 9 rebels on the street. Cause them can't believe it. Them can't believe it. People outside from the sun come up, but when the night fall they don't want to stop. But them can't believe it. What gosh? Them can't believe it. So I tell these guys stop spreading lies. They know we can't even full of vibes, and them can't believe it. Them can't believe it. But they gon' believe it when we touch the stage and people raising their flags. Higher, higher, higher. Yes, they gon' believe it when we see how the whole stadium get on bad fire. We get the bad. So tell them say we unstoppable. This carnival we outside. Tell them we cause be trouble. Be a madness in it. I tell them say we unstoppable. We can't
Yes.
Touch it from the top. Wait. No. I didn't want to say this before, because I seen two things before we continue this song. One,
Right.
since I came St. Lucia, Sly is my favorite soca artist.
Give that.
Other artists don't feel no way.
Take a shot on that.
Don't feel. Other artists don't feel no way. In terms of, I always found there was a certain personality in Sly's music.
Right.
Even Breakaway. Last year I went by truck because I was doing like social media work.
I remember that's the first time I heard you, man. I saw the vibe. I sent that to my manager.
Yeah.
I tell my manager, hey, they have a tuning you.
Yeah.
I tell my manager they have a tuning. I pin up the vibes. I say, yeah, boy, that is a good speed.
Yeah. I tell them and them, I say, yo, you can't be playing all that bouillon, you know. Sly Breakaway is a big tune. I want to hear that. And
man.
Alongside the Ricky T as well too.
For sure.
You know, I tell them that I vouch for Sly, I vouch for Manchester, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So bam, now that let me put that aside. The next thing before we take in this song, and Sly, you'll give me some of the vocals live.
Yeah.
The next thing is that I didn't want to say it. I know that he just aim for perfection.
Yeah.
But I was a little worried about him defending the crown from the magnitude of Damn Proud Lucia. So it's like, what's next?
What's next?
That's why I wanted to get behind all them things. And when I hear this, well, it's history. I don't know. I tell it on the from now.
What were you worried about?
I don't know. Competition is on the night.
On the night, yeah.
But I don't know which Groovy beating this song right now.
Let we go.
No bias. We're talking about pong for pong, song for song. No Groovy beating this song right
Let
now.
we go.
Behind the music, we say so. Let me go.
From top.
Yes.
From top.
Let's start this.
Steva and DJ.
It don't matter time of day. Can't stop, we can't even know way. Be a mad people up in there. Behind the music, we live. Bang. Hey. It's Sly again.
Yes, Simon.
We full of vibes to give.
DJ Steva, give me a little in my head. Let we go.
Hey, listen. I hear they say we exaggerate. We carnival numbers not accurate. Cause them can't believe it. Them can't believe it. What? How the road get shut down after 6, but all after 9 revelers on the streets and them can't believe it. We drinking from early bounty. People outside from the sun come up, but when the night fall they don't want to stop, cause them can't believe it. So don't spread rumors. So I tell these guys stop spreading lies. They know we carnival full of vibes that them can't believe.
You see, just like church, we making all believers.
But they go believe me when we touch the stage and people raising their flags higher, higher, where? Yes, they go believe me when they see how the old steady young get on board. What we tell them? So tell them say we unstoppable. This carnival we outside, tell them we cause be a trouble. Be madness in there, tell them say we unstoppable. We carnival phenomenon.
KFC, I want a bucket tonight.
So tell them say we unstoppable.
My favorite verse coming. My favorite verse, the second verse. My favorite verse. You can go to any carnival in the world.
He said this is his favorite
My favorite verse. Listen,
Let me go. Music.
Told them they don't know fet at all. Till them fet St. Lucian carnival and them can't believe it. Them what we do? We bring the rhythm, the vibes and the alcohol. Girls winding down on the bam bam wall and them and they can't believe it. What we do? Hey, he's fet after fet with a smash up place. We outside we ain't sleep for days and them can't believe it. What we have vibes? All the vibes we bring them can't contend. We have energy more than them and them can't believe it. We ain't sleep yet, 3 weeks. But they go believe me when we touch the stage and people raising their flags higher, higher, higher. Yes, they go believe me when they see how the old stadium get on bad fire. We get it on bad. So tell them say we unstoppable. This carnival we outside, tell them we cause be a trouble. Be a madness in there, tell them say we unstoppable. We carnival phenomenon.
Oh God, man.
Unstoppable. This carnival we outside, tell them we cause be a trouble. Be a madness in there, tell them say we unstoppable. We carnival phenomenon. Them can't believe
song that boy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's my vibe.
Boy. I feel they come but they cannot try. This ain't no mama guy, they can't believe it.
I go have to make you write my competition verse for me. Yeah, man. Can't believe it.
Yeah,
man.
tune.
So that tune is just, and as with everything, the big up Islands, the audio lab in the south.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that's the producer behind that. He actually sent me that beat. He told me that beat was for an advertisement. He made that beat for an advertisement. But when he heard it, he said, boy, that beat too on a level, you know. He sent it to me. So we added the brass. I went to the studio, we added the brass. I came up with the brass parts, the percussions, the bass line. We did the bass lines as well.
Boy. It helps when the artist really channel the elements of the song as well.
Yeah, because I play other instruments. I play instruments as well. I play drums, I play the bass guitar, and I can do a little bit of.
I am so sorry. It's like, what time do you have to sleep? Do you sleep?
I do. I try to get 6 hours every day at least.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, man.
But you're a fireman, so you have to be disciplined.
Yeah, discipline. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not even as disciplined as before.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Is that the soca in you?
Yeah, it's sometimes you have to be flexible.
Right.
In as much as you want to be disciplined, but the flexibility still requires a certain level of discipline.
Right.
In the way you execute whatever you have to do.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because I'm the kind of guy, like you say, boy, I like perfection. To me, sometimes I'm a bit tough on the musicians that play with me because I know what I want to hear.
Yeah, but that's how it is cool.
And I know they can get to the level where I want them.
Earlier, we had a chat with Ace earlier.
Yeah.
And Ace said that people think when it is somebody critique them, they think that you're being harsh on them or you don't like them.
Yeah.
But it's really that you want a particular level. You want a standard. Because I mean, if he's sending things to Fian, Bungie, this one, that one, he don't want to be sending that out there all the time. He want to produce some people here too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of my biggest...
level up.
Yeah, man. My biggest critique was from a guy called, I think, Kerwin or Kenwin. He has a beard and a bald head. He does stage manager sometimes. And he dropped an F-bomb on me after a performance. I was young. I was real young. Yeah, man. For true, he tell me, I was 17. I just started doing lead vocalist, 17, 18 at the Marina. And he was there and he tell me after I knew within myself the performance wasn't good because I was singing covers with another band. And then when I was done, I just went in a corner by myself and he came to me and he tell me, yo, you know you're a very good singer. He tell me, first of all, he said, you don't know me, but you will know me soon. He said, you know you're a very good singer, but what you were doing on stage there was F-free. You know, he tell me that. He tell me that boldface so. Boldface so. And I had to stay there and watch him and accept that. I couldn't, because within myself I knew what he was saying was true.
You can't be.
And he tell me, anytime you're on stage as a singer and you know what you want and it's not going the way you want, tell the band to play, because at the end of the day, you're the face that everyone is seeing.
Right. So you're going to take the blame.
So you're going to take the blame. Understand? So he told me that and I was like, boy, what am I saying that true? But he really told me, definitely told me, you have something special about you. He told me you have very good qualities. And I was not even into the artist vibe yet. Yeah, man. And he told me that. And he does, I don't know if he remembers that, but I remember him very well from that day
that's the
till
thing,
now.
yeah. That's the thing. The people we come into contact with, they don't even realize how much of an impact they have on our lives.
Yeah,
and look at you. How many years ago was this?
Yeah, that's probably 16 years ago.
That's Steva tricking you into telling people their age.
Yeah, I told her.
He said it earlier, actually. He did.
That's joking,
that's years ago, and you look at you. This has impacted you. Change
sure.
how you do your performances and everything right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So even when I remember I told you I didn't have any experience, but just the little coaching along the way.
Right.
The little coaching along the way, probably subliminally I was picking up them things and
you remember the ball and the beard.
Yes.
young man.
So we need to reach out to the bald head and the beard guy. What is his name again?
I think it's Kerwin or Kenwin. He does stage management. He has a beard. Man,
link up, Kenwin. Link up.
Kenwin or something like that. I think
link
that's
up and take it forward.
Yeah, he wears glasses. That's one of the biggest. That I don't think I can explain how big that was of a turning point for me in my musician career. That was huge. Yeah, man.
Oh, speaking of which, since you mentioned him, do you have any mentors?
Mentors in terms of people who reach out to me and give me advice, or people I look up to.
No, who you look up
Look,
to.
All right. So, my locally, Arthur is one of them. Arthur, I really watch Arthur and watch his craft. The year I was going up against him, which I'm like first year actually competing last year against him. My first year competing against him, I watched his performance. Right, I watched his performance the night he performed and won with Feeling Irie. Right, and then after that, I remember clearly I had my laptop on the counter in my kitchen, and I was preparing breakfast, and I was going through the performance. And after his performance, I called the manager, because that's the year I didn't take part. That's the year he won. So I called my manager. I told my manager, bro, I feel I cracked the code.
Right.
Yeah, man. I told him that, and I told him honestly, I taking part in competition next year and I winning.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I said that to him. I said that to my manager in 2023.
Yeah.
After Arthur's performance, the morning after Arthur won, I messaged my manager, and he can vouch and tell everybody that I said that. I call him, I tell him I cracked the code.
Right.
I understand. Even the night of competition, when I came backstage, I met Arthur. You know, we very cool. I met him backstage, and I tell him, boy, tonight in Creole, I burst in your... I tell him that. So
I would have say it in Creole, but we know it's gonna sound worse.
yeah, I told him that as soon as I meet him, he tell me, hey, King Sly, I tell him I burst in your tonight. Yeah. Tonight. Yeah, man, but it was a fun competition, man.
You know what I love about your relationship with the other artists is that it's not a fight down situation. It seems like you guys have like a brotherhood going on.
Yeah, man, and people don't understand. At the end of the day, it's one product. We're exporting St. Lucia. We're not exporting Alpha. We're not exporting Nerdy. We're not exporting Rikiti. We're not exporting Alley Cat. We're not exporting Prosper. We're not exporting Sly. We're exporting St. Lucia.
That's
you
right.
Understand? And it's one product. And different elements have to come together to make one product. That is just simply. And I always tell people we have to be careful with how we take competition. If we don't see competition for what it's supposed to be, competition will create a wrong culture.
It's supposed to be sword sharpening sword.
Yeah, man. It's supposed to be where we evaluate our level among each other. All right. Okay. If that man keeps winning, continually winning, because from when Alpha won 5 times, we knew that's the level. Yeah. You understand? That's the level. So that's the point behind competing.
So then it has to evolve.
Yeah, competing not supposed to be for me to prove like I better than that man or whatever. So, in as much as we want to say that to be honest, there'll be an element of you that will be like, I want to prove to people that I can do that.
Right.
You know, because after I won in 2019, right, I defended unsuccessfully. Right. I went for a haircut the day before. No, the day of the competition, I went for a haircut in the barber shop, and my barber was telling me, "Yo, Gassa, nobody a beating Alpha." That was last year. Nobody a beating Alpha, Gassa. Umin put him a shack layer book vinla every time that man come and compete, he winning. I tell him, don't worry, I go change that for you tonight. Yeah, man, I tell him, I go change that for you tonight. He said, all right, I there to see you, King Sly. He tell me that like that. Yeah, so you would want to prove to people that you can do it, because this was my first time in competition against Arthur.
Right.
You understand? My very first time. And you want to prove to people that you can do it, you are good enough. There'll be that element of you, but it must never overshadow the ultimate goal, which is you not only representing yourself, you're representing the whole country.
Right.
Because when that music goes out, people will not say, that's music from Sly. They'll always ask, where's Sly from?
Exactly.
That's music from St. Lucia.
Yeah, you can't be bitter with it.
Yeah, man.
You have to be selfless enough to push it through as well.
Yeah. And if, like you were saying, if you don't get that recognition and appreciation, it's very easy to spiral out of control and be probably like the guest you had on the show, be bitter and everything. You understand? So you must be level-headed. The music industry is not easy, man.
No,
it's not. It's not at all. Now, listen, I think we can go. We had to wrap up.
Yeah.
You know, once bounty pop out.
No, but I don't think it's the bounty as well, and I know that the bounty adds the spirit to it.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think that we have amazing guests.
Right.
We have amazing artists, and in the studio we have amazing personalities that bring that level of comfort, and make the safe space for artists to really chat about what they don't get to discuss. Because I mean, you walk in somewhere, somebody say, "Yeah, we are for 2025." Yeah. Well, I'm Lucia. We going live now.
Yeah.
turn on, follow the station, you know, you cannot perform there. Yeah, so slide, get him out, you know, we don't want that.
By the way,
We don't want that.
speaking of performances, earlier you mentioned that after your interview with us here, you have a performance.
Yeah, it's a Sandals Road show.
Okay.
Sandals Road show at the Darren Summit Cricket Ground, I think it is. Yeah, so we there.
So what level of event that is? So the tickets were sold. Is it
And I think it's more of a, I'm not sure, I didn't get the details. Like, as I said, the manager gets the bookings, you know, he
So you just
informs me. I show up at the time I'm supposed to show up. Sometimes I don't really have particulars.
Right.
But I think this one is more of a private thing, more for the staff, I think. I'm not
Gotcha.
sure.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure. Not quite sure, I can't say.
Yeah, but remember, sliding everything in it.
Yeah.
Now, Diego, it's about that time. You know we have to wrap up, right?
Yeah.
So I need to ask this question.
Go on.
This is one question that I ask every single person who comes on, and I need to know, what advice do you have for up and coming artists, or not necessarily artists, just young people who want to somewhat follow in your footsteps?
Yeah. Be prepared. Like, be prepared. Like, as they say, to fail to plan is to plan to fail.
Wow.
Be prepared. Like, you just have to be prepared. Know what you're getting yourself into. Assess the climate of what you're getting into. Don't just go into it not knowing. You know, educate yourself. Along the way you learn, but educate yourself about it. You understand? And educate yourself about how the arrangements you have with producers. If you want to be an artist, arrangement you have with producers, how much it costs to record a song. You know, it's these kind of information that's very important. But you need to be prepared to face the pressures of it. Right? They always say expect the hope for the best. Hope for the best, but expect the worst.
Right.
I can say that is very true with the music industry. Expect the worst, but hope for the best, and be prepared to just deal with characters. You see, your emotional intelligence, that is critical to being a successful artist. Emotional intelligence. You need to know how to respond to certain things that you're not pleased with. You need to know how to deal with situations, how to address them. Right? The timing is very important in the game as well. The timing you release a song, the time you ask a certain question, the time you get a certain amount of information, the time you get into a certain group. Like, educate yourself about the game, because we have a lot of people who want to be artists, but they're not educated. I'm not even at the place I want to be in terms of understanding the whole game.
Right.
You know, because I've had issues with producers and different people in the game, and it's just a lack of knowledge. You know, a lack of knowledge. You know, I made mistakes in the game as well. You know, and we always have to hold ourselves accountable. That's one of the biggest things. Just hold yourself accountable. You may not be responsible for whatever happened, but you will be accountable.
Yep,
there are times you have to be accountable for
you
it.
got into an industry.
Yeah, man, you got into it.
You know, they prey on people that don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So education, knowledge, yeah, man. One of the sayings I gave out at a speech last time. It's better to have 1% of the knowledge of 100 men than to have 100% of the knowledge of one man. It's better to have 1% of the knowledge of 100 men than to have 1% of the knowledge, than to have 100% of the knowledge of one man. So network, get to learn stuff from different people.
Right.
All right. So it makes you more marketable and more remain coachable. You know, be humble. You know, the glory will get to your head sometimes.
Yeah,
Get to your head sometimes, but understand the as fast as you rise, as fast as you can fall.
The plane hadn't touched the landing gear again.
Yeah, man. So it's just the biggest preparation I can tell an artist is mental. Just have a very that's one of the biggest. Just have a mental readiness for getting into the game, because you'll need it, man. You'll need it. Sometimes your body not 100. You know, you probably experiencing, and it's just like almost like y'all. Sometimes you leave home with the situation at home is not the best, but you just you have to come on air and not show that. You have to speak. You have to speak the same way, the same level of energy, like you.
You have to.
It's either you not show it, or you deal with it in a way that it's highly relatable.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
And tied into the show so that it becomes national therapy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Know yourself first. Know yourself every time. Know yourself.
Amazing. That is great advice. I hope someone out here listened and heard it. By the way, I need to get a video of you saying that. You know, We're all about content.
We have it.
Oh,
we have it.
Okay, so yes. So
Yeah,
guys,
it's like
make sure.
recording.
We have
Yeah.
everything.
All right,
Make
okay.
sure you look out for the clips. We will be posting those right on Rhythm.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah,
Rhythm
man.
FM's Instagram page, of course. So if you're not following, you need to follow. You know what I'm
Definitely have
saying?
to.
You know.
Quick. Go on, follow.
And by
No.
following, you also figure out who will be our next guest.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to say thank you so much for joining us, Sly. This was
pleasure, man.
absolutely
A pleasure.
amazing. I had
A
a
pleasure.
great time.
Yeah, man.
And
Me
I hope
too.
our listeners had an amazing time as well. I mean, it was a whole vibe.
Yeah, it was.
So you don't know. Slide past Sean drop it you. No, that's not that. This is behind the music.
Yeah.
This is we go in.
We go in,
Yeah,
we
man.
go in.
Yeah, man. In depth. I like these kind of talks, man. You know, where you have to just gauge the conversation in terms of, you know, certain people when you speak your truth, certain people might be offended when you speak your truth.
Right.
You understand? Because that might not be their truth, but we have three sides to everything: yours, mine, and what the actual truth is. You know.
That you have three sides to stories, but in terms of your reality,
Yeah.
what they interpret your reality to be,
True.
that's their lens.
That's there, yeah.
But
Yeah.
your
You
truth,
see it, yeah.
you can tell your truth.
Yeah,
If somebody's
facts.
telling a story,
Yeah.
but that's a different scene. But however people see it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Right. Now, you know, guys, we don't want it to end, you know. We don't want it
No,
to end, but we have to. We
Yeah.
have to. We have
Yeah.
to. But before we do this, I want to go in with your groovy entry for this year and your power as
Yeah.
well. All right, this one, your power is Frost.
Frost, yeah.
Okay.
Frost, yeah.
You want to give us a brief.
Yeah, so Frost is just more or less a vibe song. Simple. We all know the word Frost. It more or less has to do with just an energy. And when we drink, you know, we get that vibe, that hype. You know, when we call it what we call tipsy. You know,
Nice.
so that's one of the best moods you can be in when you're in carnival. Not saying, and again, we always promote responsibility when drinking. Drink responsibly. You know, if you're drinking, don't drive. Right, get your designated driver, and these are the things I speak about in that song. You know,
Yeah.
again, my style of writing, I love my lyrics, I love painting a picture. So this is my song. That beat is from Little Boy from Dominica.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
little boy.
yeah, that's the producer there for that one. So yeah, man,
Alright.
I like that one too. I
Really
like that
nice,
one too.
really nice,
Yeah.
really good vibes. Okay, so need to big up our sponsors and say thank you so much for
Yeah.
for joining us or being with us or sponsoring us. You know, big shout out to KFC.
That's for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
That's for dinner.
Woo. Okay, and of course we're shouting out Bounty.
Bounty
We can never forget them. And remember, every Friday it's going down at Ancho Flames, the big Bounty Rum After Work Lime. So pull up from 4 p.m. for your favorite Bounty cocktails and drink specials. All right, so it's all going down at Ultra Flames, the big Bounty Rum After Work Lime, and you know all of the Bounty ambassadors will be present.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not doing Radio Friday. So if you're in the area,
You
pull
see,
up.
I was just about to say, you see, we are at a disadvantage again.
Oh.
That's it, you know.
Oi, 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 oi.
You have to do a bounty mix and down south.
Bounty, link up.
Down south.
All right, so we're wrapping up our time here with Sly on Behind the Music. Here's Can't Believe, and following right after that, we have Frass.
Yeah, man.
Proudly brought to you by KFC.
And Bounty Rum. Behind the music.
Behind the music.